Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's like being in a hothouse today, except it's cool out. As you can see, the mist is all around us, which is kind of cool. The news out of Washington is a mixture of important stories, I guess. One of them is that the Director of National Intelligence is telling us that Russia and Iran are sending emails threatening Democratic voters in Alaska and Florida. So then he says, Mr. Ratcliffe says, that this is an anti-Trump campaign. So if you threaten Democratic voters, how is that anti-Trump? Isn't that reducing the vote of Democrats? Another thing about it, since we don't trust the interpretation. The second part of it is, why would Iran be involved in something threatening Democratic voters? I understand Russia, but I don't understand Iran. So I wonder if it's true at all. And it's a way of fudging the Russian effect that is having the Russians expressly identified as interfering in this election again and mixing it up with Iran. Okay, so that's one thing. On the Supreme Court question, we have a hearing today of the committee to vote out of the Judiciary Committee, the nomination. Democrats are going to boycott it. Well, I don't get that, not unless you can be effective. If by not being there, you could deny a quorum. And their argument is that you need at least 2 Democrats present for the vote to go forward. But they'll just walk around that. So I think it would have been better to make a demonstration at the meeting against the nominee and to give words to the movement against her rather than to be absent. But that's my flavor, one way or the other. She will be voted out of committee today. On the happy scale, we had the most amazing and wonderful speech by Obama yesterday on behalf of Biden and on behalf of civil demeanor. But the evocation of a speech that had full sentences, that had argument, that had humor, that had uplifting insights into where the nation can go without this oaf in the West Wing. I thought that was a delight, and I joked on Twitter, putting a link to the entire speech. You could just put it on loop. And I must admit that when I'd hear through the day, or the evening anyhow, snippets from that speech, it left a very nice feeling. So if you haven't heard it, do, and if you have heard it, play it again. Tonight we have the debate. I'm very concerned about it because I think it's ours to lose. But I suppose Trump, no matter what his people tell him, no matter what he puts up his nose to get through the meeting, he will probably smirk and make faces and maybe even shout across the stage so that Biden can hear what he has to say, even if the public doesn't. The period of time we're entering is a very dark time in which we see the threat of force, the intimidation of gunmen at polls, organization of different states to make the voting unpleasant if it's done in person, even if it's done early, concerns about screening the ballots. That's why it's so critical that we get out and vote, because the overwhelming vote is the vote that's necessary to overcome the negative tricks and deceits that we can expect through now to the election and then the counting afterwards. So by now, probably everybody I'm talking to has voted. Get somebody else to vote, give a little money, get out in your own mist, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.